I get great pleasure, deep, deep, deep in my bones pleasure when someone I'm obsessed with follows me back on the internet. And that is what happened with Liza Treyger. She is so fucking funny. I desperately want her to be my friend. This episode is really two people coming together that were meant to be friends, and you're going to listen to it. Take a little opportunity here. Follow her on Patreon. Follow me on Patreon. I'm going to post the video of us chatting. And I also just want to say thank you guys so much for starting off the year strong on the Patreon. I love this episode because we talk about lots of deep things. I kind of went into it being like, okay, we're going to talk about That's Messed Up. That's her SVU podcast. That's hysterical. I'm going to try to be as funny as possible. But I can't help it. I can't help but connect with people and talk about therapy. Apparently, she has the same problem. So enjoy this conversation. Oh my God, I'm dead. It's like I don't, when you're like so excited and you don't know where to start. I'm like, well, do you want to talk about Bravo? Do you want to talk about murder? Like, what do you, like, fucking eating pussy? Just kidding. I can't talk about that. I'm married now, so can't talk about it ever.
Really? Is that a part of your boundaries? You have to keep
I talk about whatever. No. Actually, it was funny. So you and I have a mutual friend, Allie Colbert. And when I was on her show recently, the way that she like teased the show made it sound so much more scandalous than it really was. And my wife was like, hey, do you need to like tell me what you said to Allie at all? Because she knows her. And I was like, no, I don't like, I'm not that scandalous. So no, I would, I've had some very strange like female dating stories that it would be a shame to not talk about them publicly. So she's cool with that.
Well, yeah, I also one time was talking to a comic and she was saying how her boyfriend was pissed about certain jokes. And then she told me that what the jokes were and they were so chill, innocuous, like not that vulnerable in any way. And I was like, you need a new partner. Like you can't be suffocated like this creatively by a person that should be with you. I don't know. Yeah, not my business. Seems like they're together, but.
I mean, listen, I'm very supportive and it wouldn't work. And also, and I don't know if you know this because I don't think I've talked about this on Allie's show, but I identify as bisexual.
I know you didn't. It was mostly like wife chats, but yeah.
I know. I always have to like kind of affirm that because I think when you're in whatever relationship you're in, I think maybe if I was with a guy, maybe people would ask. I don't know. I think people once you're in like a long-term relationship with a woman, they just kind of assume and they call you a lesbian. I don't mind being called a lesbian. It doesn't bother me. I haven't been with a man in a long time. 9+ years, I think was the last time I hooked up with a dude.
But also people would be more mad at you if you had a husband. I feel like people, that annoys people more. Bisexual and hetero relationships bother people, I feel. It's like, you're not really bi.
No, I think that's what, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I feel like they like, it's funny. I get questioned a lot, like, your wife is so supportive of you being bisexual. Like, she should get a medal. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, what a dumb thing to say,
No, but I felt that way because there was a trend where people in long-term hetero relationships were coming out as bi. And it's like, you don't need to do this. Like you present and are treated as like a heterosexual person. So it doesn't actually matter if you're bi or not. It's not like you're dealing with any of the social or any like of the flaw, like the negatives.
Yeah, like the negatives of it.
Like Vanderpump, like Ariana from Vanderpump being like, I'm bisexual, and it's like, you've been with Tom now for like a long time. I don't know, why are you saying this? I'm part of the problem.
Vanderpump.
I'm the problem. It's me.
You are the problem.
I'm the one.
It's you.
I'm like, people really don't like that, and it's like, I guess I was the judgmental one of Ariana.
Well, okay, so I was listening to your show this morning, whilst driving what felt like 1 million moons to get to a meeting. And, I knew you liked Bravo, but I didn't realize you were like you really like Bravo.
Yeah, it really is the cornerstone of so many of my friendships. Like,
is it?
It's group chats, it's gifts, it's chatting. It really is like and not only just with my deep close friends, but on the road or anywhere, it's really easy to connect with people with Bravo. Like it really is a connector worldwide. My friend in London watches, like that's what we WhatsApp about.
Really?
It's just kind of this beautiful thing. But also I started watching in 2006. Like I started watching The Real Housewives of the OC as it came out, not knowing what it was. And I've obviously gone through dips up and down or franchises I've left behind and come back to. But right now we're in such a heyday that I'm really watching it all. Like because the trailer, like right now, the endings of stuff are great. Miami's amazing. But then we have like Jersey Housewives, Vanderpump, and Summer House trailers, which all look so good.
I haven't ventured into the like summer, winter, spring, fall time houses. Vanderpump for me is just really problematic. Do you know how adjacent to Bravo? Like, do you know my whole shit?
No.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Because I didn't know. And I was like listening to you this morning. First of all, your show is so great. And and I think my cold email pitch to you was like, also my sister is like the real SVU, which is insane to me.
Oh my, yes.
Because she can't tell me shit. Basically, and I'm trying to remember in the original, like way, way, way back, or maybe she was just in Law and Order. Who was the like hot lawyer that was always like a assistant
Stephanie March,
yes,
ADA, Alexandra Cabot, and people have a lot of fan fiction with like her and Benson. That's like
so that's
big
like
thing for people.
That's right. So that's like my sister is like the hot lawyer, like going after all. I know it's so crazy, but like real SVU is real dark. I don't know how she does it.
The show's dark. So because our research on the crimes is so dark that I need a moment. I can't imagine the detectives, the social workers, like any people that are doing the actual work. It's because that was my childhood dream. I wanted to be a forensic like psychologist and work with killers. And it was my sister's husband's dad who was like, you're too happy. You don't need to be working in a prison. Gray walls. He's like, that's not you. And it changed. I was like, you're right. I don't want to do that every day.
I think it feels like it would be really interesting to talk to criminals all the time or like murderer. I mean, I love those shows on Netflix. It's like, oh, I'm a killer. Like, I don't know if you've seen that one, but I like that because I'm like, yeah, I want to get into the mind of a killer. And then they start talking and basically they're a killer because they went through horrible child trauma and they're like wired to be a sociopath. And I'm like, ooh, I don't know energetically. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's a fucking lot of weird energy exchange with some psycho. I deal with enough psychos in the entertainment industry. And because I'm Bravo adjacent, I don't think I could handle like the ones that go above and beyond to murder, kill. You know?
I would be tricked because I think the whole thing is like, no, there must be something deeper. And then I think what we all figure out is like, no, they're actually just dead inside. They don't feel anything. And that's scary.
It's very, very scary. Have you had anyone reach out to you like from prison? Have you gotten any prison mail?
We haven't gotten any prison mail. We did do one case where during COVID, a few criminals were eligible for early release. And so we wrote to parole boards and like, so we had one family reach out and like thank us for that and like want us to encourage people to make sure this guy who killed their daughter was not released. And he wasn't. But no one from prison, like more SVU, more entertainment people. Like we know a girl from casting who reached out and was like, oh my God, stuff like that. Or the Neil Baer, the showrunner for seasons 2 to 12 reached out and was like, get me on the pod, but not any criminals. And I hope not. But one guy, we just recorded an episode that'll come out soon, but I looked him up on the sexual registry because I couldn't find any, and he's in LA. He lives in like Little Armenia. He's at 90027. So the crimes were all in Brooklyn and I couldn't find any up-to-date info. And the registry places him like within 15-minute drive from me.
Yeah, that's a no from me, dog. That's terrible. As an actor, do you want to be on Law and Order?
Yeah, it's a dream. I bombed an audition. I had one audition and it was before I was ready. Like I bombed. It was only one line, but I just did a terrible job and I was sent out of the room and I just am hoping for that next audition.
I feel like they have to put you on there. When I was acting, it was like the one thing I wanted to do, and I never did it. I know so many people that have been on a franchise of Law and Order, including this girl who was totally fucking batshit that I went to high school with. And I was watching, one night, lulling myself to sleep with the dun dun, like just okay, if as long as I hear it, I know I can just trail off into like murder slumber. And I knew the voice, and I look up, and she was playing like the classic, like, said that she had been, attacked by someone, but then like it actually was, she was covering up for somebody else and was gonna let somebody take the fall. And then they put her on the stand and she broke. And like, then they're like, you're bad because you were gonna send somebody else to jail for the rape that happened to you, young woman. Even though, like, do you know what I mean? And I was like, oh my God, I could tell you what her name. I'm not gonna say it on the podcast, but yeah. Now she lives in. I, of course, looked her up afterward and like deep dove the internet for her. And she lives in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and runs like a public theater.
Perfect.
Because like, you know what I mean? Like she's like I think she like does like also clowning. Like
there was like a really hip show in Edinburgh the year I went, like in 2019. And the girl was performing in Brooklyn. I was like, oh, it was the hip show. It's so sold out. I gotta go see it. Lasted 3 minutes. Like I realized it was clowning, and there was like and I was like, get me the fuck out of here. And instead me and my friend went out to eat. Like I can't. I'm really into the arts. Like I just saw a show that I loved that no one in my life likes.
Which is?
And my friend said, you just love the theater. And it's true. Like
what was the show?
Well, we do have to bleep it if that's okay, because I do care about this. But it was show.
That didn't. I think the New Yorker review of said show that is bleeped was pretty spot on. It's So yeah,
I didn't read the New Yorker review, but who I went with and a couple of like everyone around me in my circle was just like, it felt like this, it felt like that, and I was like, I've liked it more and more every day. I've been thinking about it.
Oh.
I like laugh since then. I bought the stickers. Like I bought merch. I was really into it. And I feel like I'm on an island, unfortunately, but
she loves the theater. She gets it. You get it.
But
You're
it was expensive. No, but there's one show I went to at Playwrights Horizon that was so bad that like I compare everything to that. And if it's not that, I'm like into it. But it was really expensive. It was very expensive.
Listen, supporting the arts is like, it's not cheap. So,
but I read, it was the opposite. I'm going to read the New Yorker thing. What I did was I read some other press, and it was this fun interview. And I go, oh God, this interview is so good. I got to go. And I was happy I went.
Yeah. I mean, the New Yorker took it easy, but it was.
Oh, wow.
They were.
Oh my God.
So, okay.
It's just hard because we are like, oh, but it's like they're crushing it. So it's interesting where it's like, even if there was a panned review, it's like,
listen, I went to a rusical of fucking Cruel Intentions at some weird bar restaurant in Los Feliz, and like had to eat a $30 cheeseburger that was disgusting. And that was the last theater performance that I went to. I wouldn't even call it theater. I was like, we're in a restaurant, and these like kids that are like, they're doing this to get in front of casting direct. Like, what have we done? And that was the last thing I went to right before the pandemic. So I'm due for a new show. I really want to see The Six. That's like,
I saw it. I have the magnet on my fridge.
She's a merch girl. She's a merch girl.
A merch girl about Henry VIII's wives. Yeah.
Yep.
It was awesome. I took my niece. My niece picked the show. So my niece and sister and I went. And we had a great time. But there's no plot or anything. It's just these girls belting, looking incredible, and like having fun banter with the full band on stage. And I loved it. 90 minutes, no intermission.
See, that's what I always wished going to a lesbian bar was like. Hot girls belting, talking about nothing, just like, but it's not that. It's unfortunately, that has not been my experience in lesbian bars. I've been like in a corner trying to talk to someone, but everyone's like kind of sizing each other up, and it's like, it's just not what I had ever hoped it to be, you know?
What is the hip lesbian bar like in LA?
None. Zero.
None. Okay.
Seto. There used to be a few. but there aren't anymore. When I go to New York, I will, take a little whirl at the cubby hole. I did get identified. I had a show before, actually, with Andy Cohen's assistant called Scissoring Isn't a Thing. And somebody came up to me at the bar and was like, "Are you Liz from Scissoring?" And I was like, "Can you scream that a little louder?" Like, I was so excited to be identified. And it is the only fucking time that has ever happened to me. And then I was like trying to strike up a conversation and it went nowhere. So
wait, so how are you connected to the Bravo universe?
One of my closest friends is a former housewife, Leah McSweeney from New York.
Okay.
I did a show with Andy Cohen's assistant, Darren, for 2 years. That's pretty fucking Bravo adjacent. Me and Heather Gay are like texting buds, which don't ask me about the eye because I can't.
It's not about the eye, but someone else, I forgot who I was with. I think probably someone fancy, but it was Fortune Feimster's wife. That's who it was.
Oh, Jax.
Yeah, Jax. So Jax said that she was messaging with Heather Gay and that Heather was like, "Ugh, don't watch this season. It's a mess." So I like that Heather seems self-aware.
Heather is very self-aware.
And what happened.
Yes.
And that makes me love her because I was like, fuck, the season's like, I don't know. But the fact that she's like, "Oh yeah, I wasn't at my best," makes me be like, I knew you were awesome. Like, I knew you got it.
No, Heather totally gets it. She's lovely. I mean, she did my old show. We met really early on. She sent me a necklace. I cannot the listeners know Heather Gay and I are like twin flames. Oh my God, it goes on and on. I'm on a show called The Taylor Strecker Show. Taylor Strecker is best friends with Stassi. She married Stassi and Bo. It just goes on. The Bravo of it all just goes on and on and on and on with me. But Miami, I have to tell you, I've made my wife watch this season, is just one for the books. I really have to say, because I like to actually watch rich people. That's the thing with me with housewives. I need them to be rich. I need the opulence. I need a Heather Dubrow. I need a big house. I need it all.
Yeah, nothing was sadder than when Tamara and all these people's houses were getting foreclosed. And it's this isn't why I watch. I agree.
No. And also Bronwyn, bless your heart if you're listening, we're cool, but that whole fiasco, we haven't had I think a good cast. And Leah will tell you, they were shooting in COVID. Her grandmother was dying. None of them were really friends. And I think it really showed in New York. And Salt Lake's getting rough because they all that reunion. Did you watch the reunion?
I did. I mean, to only have 4 people on a couch is so strange. And none of the new girls really brought it. They all seemed nervous and they're not for it. Yeah, it's weird. And Meredith doesn't play because I read Brian Moylan's book. I don't know if you're a super fan of him. He actually sent me a Christmas ornament that says The Fish Room.
Stop.
With beads in it. Yeah. But he analyzes housewives so well. And he said a big part of it is in the book, conflict and resolution. And if there's no resolution, it's not fun anymore. We need the circle to keep moving about conflict and resolution. And Meredith is unable to resolve. And that's what's annoying. Because obviously you don't have to forgive Lisa. If this was real life, it'd be fuck Lisa. That's not your friend. You don't need friends like that. But it's honey, engage. We're watching. You got to engage.
I know. I mean, my question to you, though, is if you're homie, all of a sudden y'all get on a fucking reality show together. And that hot mic moment was, Lisa goes for the jugular very quickly. She's a very fragile person, actually, in my opinion. I think she just goes ugh. Even on the reunion this week, it was just whoa, dude, you just keep, she says very mean things.
She's Larsa season 1. I'm perfect. My family is perfect. I do everything perfect. I am perfect and nothing's wrong with me. And I don't like that. I can't
stand Larsa, but that's my own thing of it. But but the messiness of her date, I was trying to explain to my wife last night, Larsa dating Michael Jordan's son. And she was just what the fuck are you talking? I'm that is so petty. Layer deep in your bones petty. It's kind of amazing. And in some ways, you to be admired and honored, but whatever.
Well, so this week she put the photo on Maine of them together, but I went through all these comments and a lot of the comments were like, he doesn't post about you, babe. Like, he's not posting you at all. This is embarrassing.
Also, like she knew him as a kid. This is where it gets like,
well, no, my friend also, I didn't know, like she has dated other young people and messaged like LeBron's teenage son and then said it was a mistake and she didn't mean to, but like she might have some problems.
Mary Kay Letourneau, like 2.0. Like, how are they doing? I think they finally got divorced. Oh my God. But yeah, Lisa goes hard. I just can't help but think like if somebody said that shit about you on a hot mic, I mean, woof, it would be hard to come back, but I think you're absolutely right. That show is in a real hard holding pattern. I mean, I think I've talked about this. Oh, I guess I shouldn't really talk about this on air. Where did I talk about that? I was like, ooh, I'll tell you hopefully when we become friends in real life. I mean, I have the crazy, so much I can't say ever on air. But I'll just say this. I knew that before BravoCon that Heather and Whitney were no longer friends, which was kind of wild and like also sort of destroyed the season for me. Cause I'm like, fuck, dude, now you know what I mean? I was like, okay, you just kind of like ruined this for me. But them not being able to move forward and
it's sad.
You're right. There's no wheel. So it feels like a little bit stuck, you know?
It's definitely stuck. The thing that's confusing with Heather about this is like, you're so forgiving and patient with Jen Shaw, but not Whitney, who's done less. Like, I just don't understand how
I agree.
Heather has let Jen trample all over her, but not Whitney, who I think deeply does love. I think they love each other, you know?
They're cousins.
But I felt so bad for Heather because I've been in this situation and it catalysted to me and my friend not speaking for a long time. And then we resolved and have been closer now for, more than a decade. But I was in a room where something was said, but I didn't pay attention to it. So then later I was surprised about it and I got this information and my friend was like, you were fucking there when it was said. And I was like, I don't remember. And so I just felt so compassionate towards Heather because I've been there. Like if you're drunk or whatever, someone's like, you heard this. And I'm like, I didn't fucking hear it. Shut up. I didn't hear it. I don't know. I just felt for her in that moment. Yeah.
And also, like, obviously Lisa's like fucking dudes for Vita tequila placements because it's really bad tequila. Like, come on, Lisa. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Don't sue me.
But I love her quote. Did you see her quote afterwards? She goes, I deserve presents for just breathing. And I love that. She's like, I don't do any favors.
She's a girl. You know what? Lisa was the only person on that show that had a pretty top-notch season, I would say.
Yeah, but singing. I also don't like skinny girls who pretend they eat. Like, I don't believe she's eating all that food.
Correct.
Like, I don't get it.
Correct. I can't.
You ever watch Harper's Bazaar, What I Eat in a Day? Those YouTubes?
Yep.
They're my favorite. I love them so much. But the Call Her Daddy girl, I was like, you're lying. You're not eating a chicken parm for lunch every day. Like, you're fucking lying. She said that she eats like a bagel for breakfast, an Italian sub for lunch, and a chicken parm for dinner. And I'm like, that's a lie. Why are you? And then all the comments are like, finally a relatable girl, finally someone that's honest, finally one that, and I'm like, I would rather Kelly Ripa on it be like, listen, I don't eat. I don't do this. I eat nuts and I don't cheat. I don't have cheat days than this lying.
People know my go-to when someone is a monster in Hollywood is I'm like, well, they have not eaten. Like, and that's the thing, right? Is like, they don't eat. I mean, you heard me talk about Ozempic with Ali Colbert. Like everyone Mindy Kaling, that's just, it's so annoying to me because we've spent all this time over the last couple of years trying to actually really accept like real bodies. It's been pretty performative, but I think like for the most part, people have tried to be a little bit more realistic. And then this Ozempic bullshit, which is also being pretty perpetuated by Bravo because all of those women are on it, sucks. It's like young girls and boys and everything. Like nobody should be watching this shit. Like literally people like shrinking and then lying about it and saying that they're not doing anything. That shit pisses me off. Or to your point, a girl being like, I love eating cheeseburgers and I'm like fucking so skinny. It's like, get out of here. Like, no, thank you. I'm with you. That I can't. I
Because
can't
I
deal.
sometimes watch nutritionists watch the Harper's Bazaar. And she said something that I loved, which was like, I love watching it when you could tell someone loves to eat. So like Catherine Zeta-Jones doesn't eat quote unquote like cheeseburgers all day, but you could tell she loves the food, even if it's salad. Like, I don't know. I just love when people are honest and talk about their real thing. But I feel naive because with the Mindy Kaling, I legit thought I'm an idiot because my sister has 3 kids. She's in her 40s. But she looks incredible and she's looked more and more incredible with every kid. And it is just a busier life. Like, I understand the thing of like, fuck, I don't have time to eat. So in my head, I'm like, oh, Mindy Kaling has 2 kids now. She's a showrunner. She's writing. I'm sure this is just like natural joy, accepting your body, happiness. And that's how she dropped the pounds. And then when the Ozempic thing came out, my best friend told me, I just felt like such a fool. I felt like such a fool. I'm like, I truly thought like, good for you, girl. You finally found self-acceptance and like things went great with your babes. And then it was, she's nauseous all day having Ozempic parties.
I mean, listen, I posted a picture of Rosie O'Donnell yesterday being like, damn, Rosie's looking real good. Goes on fucking L Word, starts bucking and looking hot. And everyone's like, she's literally talking about Manjaro every 5 fucking, which is basically Ozempic, every 5 seconds on her Instagram. I'm like, oh, fucking Christ. But she did like the comment, which I kind of died. I mean, Rosie, you're a legend and you are welcome on this podcast.
Wow. So there's a lot of these. Yeah, that's
no. This is like a thing. It's really it's nuts. It's nuts. All right. So you bombed Law and Order. We're gonna will that into your future. Which now, like SVU only or bust, or would you accept some of the other franchises?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'll take a job. But
same.
SVU is definitely awesome. And I would love to do it with Kara, my podcast co-host, because I love the idea of us like walking and arguing and like finding a body or whatever. But obviously my dream is like a meaty role where I get to like flip out in the courtroom or, get caught lying or have to testify against someone. Like there's definitely fantasies, but the level of acting on that show is so high that it's definitely intimidating. But I've been working since my last audition, it's been like 8 years and I work with an acting coach all the time. Like I feel more prepped.
You're ready.
For sure.
You're ready.
I feel
You're
more.
Ready. All right. If you're listening, what are your thoughts on organized crime?
I don't really, I don't watch it.
I tried. I tried. It's not.
My co-host watches and she really loves it.
Oh, really?
I just didn't buy Dylan McDermott as a crime boss. I was like, there's no way. I just didn't buy it.
And he was sinister crime boss. And I mean, I liked that it felt, what I liked about organized crime, for those listening that have no idea what we're talking about, I'm so sorry for you, but please go on Peacock or wherever the heck it lives and watch Law and Order, Organized Crime. Stabler is really like the star of the main guy of that show. And I liked that it was about one kind of crime the whole you know what I mean? You had to watch the whole season versus, which in some ways was nice because it was different. The beauty, in my opinion, of Law and Order, of all of the originals, is that like time and space, like it does not matter. Like you can just drop in and drop out whenever you choose, you know? Some things become a little consistent, but whatever. But organized crime was just bad.
Yeah, it didn't grip me, but like we just interviewed someone that's going to be on it and we were like excited for them. So maybe I'll take a gander, but like right now I'm watching Fleischman. I watch too much TV. Like there's no reason for me. There's no reason for me to continue to watch something I'm not diehard into because there's so much stuff everywhere that I do love. Also, I love reruns. So it's like, if I'm not obsessed with it, I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah, I like force myself to finish Chippendales. There's some things I'm not one to like just completely back out of a show. I do feel like I need to finish it just to make, an informed decision if it's trash or not. But yeah, I certainly I dipped out of organized crime. Now, did you watch either season of The L Word? Like the new the Generation Q?
I watched Generation Q season 1. I haven't watched the second one yet. I'm going to binge those. Like I like it's like those shows that are 8 episode half hours or whatever. Mm-hmm. I just bust them out.
Yeah, they're very good. Speaking of Fortune and Jax, I actually hosted a premiere party the first season when Fortune was on it, which was really, really exciting, but it was also very terrifying. I basically was charged by Showtime to invite how many people? I think I had 60 invites, and those people could invite, no, it was less. 40 people, and those people could invite 2 to 3 people, and it was like Friendsgiving themed. But imagine, like, you're basically invited, like, it was a room full of like the ghost of Christmas past. Like, everyone had fucked each other at one point. Like, it was totally wild. I was sitting with Jackson Fortune, and I'm like, this is fucking awful. Like, this, why am I doing that? Like, this is awful. And I get up on stage and I'm like announcing the episode, you know, like welcoming everyone. And I'm just staring out and I'm just thinking of like every drunken mistake. It was really something that I do not recommend ever like reenacting. But it was very
but it
intense.
Seems like an honor of Elwood. Like, it's like, would it be an Elwood party without it? The web, you have to do it.
Fair enough. Do you, like, have you ever dated another comedian before?
I've only been in relationships with comedians.
Oh, okay. So I guess my follow-up question is do you run into those people still?
No, I've actually not run into either one ever.
Because you're famous and they're not.
No. One is not. One is like, you know, I think a teacher married with children type vibes. And then the other is very famous, but mostly lives in a different country.
Really?
Yeah. But wow. They're like crushing it. I feel like people liked their show and stuff. But
like when you see that person, like, did you watch their show?
No.
Okay.
No, because to me, like, I don't know exactly, like, I know what the show's about. I don't know how they wrote themselves in it, but I couldn't watch something where they're like the protagonist, you know?
Yeah, because it's
weird. Like from their perspective. Yeah, because to them it's like, oh, golly, me. But it's like, no, I think you're an evil bitch. So
you do think this person is an evil bitch?
This one person, I do, but not to their, you know, people have trauma. It's fine. But like when you date someone that's a compulsive liar, that I got played, you know, I fully got played. So in my head, it's like, I'm over it. It's fine. But like, I don't want to hang out. Like, I don't want to see it. But I'm always happy for everyone. This business is hard. But
this business is hard. The first girl I ever dated, like for real, is very well known. I mean, they're famous, but they're also like they're not an actor, but they're in the industry. And when I moved to LA, and I didn't move to LA for her, I was coming down to LA anyway. We had met at Pride in San Francisco, and she lived down here. But I talk about getting played. I got fucking played. Like, so played. And it was the first girl I was ever with. So I was like so fucking in love with her and so into her. And she was like fucking all these other actresses. Like, it was just mortifying, truly. But every billboard, like, I was bartending on Sunset for a long time in a couple of restaurants. And like every billboard on Sunset was like the movie that I had like been around her with, you know what I mean? And it was just like never fucking ending. It was like 2 years. It took me 2 years to get over her. I mean, probably longer if I'm being honest.
This is so great to hear because that's what it took me forever. And it was humiliating because we weren't even together for that long, but it was my first relationship with a girl. And like,
how long were you with her for?
It's embarrassing. Like maybe 6 months.
No. I am here. This is why we met. I was with this girl for barely 6 months. Like, no, well, yeah, maybe about 6 months.
And we were long distance, but
same. Same.
Is it the same person?
I will not. I signed NDAs, so I will never say that person's name. But again, I don't know if you are hip to my game. I'm trying to give you just enough so that you're gonna want to hang out with me in person, and then I'll tell you everything. I'll sing like a fucking canary. Let me tell you.
No, there's no tricks. I'm very happy about this, but and I was open to lots of things. It was like this person was convinced. Because I was like down to be open. in my head, I was like, we should be open. We're far apart and you're like slutty, but that's what I like about you. So like, do what you need to do and we'll see. And then it was like, no, I only want to fuck you. I'm going to wait. I've never waited this long. I can't wait. And then I found out like fucking people the whole time, people that I had hooked up with, like,
no.
Yeah, because they're like bi-ish, I feel. I don't know if now, but like, so they were fucking this dude that I had fucked while like,
oh my God.
It was just crazy. And then for years, like people would say something, I'd be like, wait, what? Wait, we were together then. And I was open to all of it. So to me, it's like this person loved my love. I was obsessed with them and they didn't want to let that go. So it's like, they didn't do anything that bad if they were just honest, but I was like really deceived and it fucked me up. But then I was depressed for 6 months and then I started therapy and that was like, great. Well, I don't know if I would have started therapy without like my friend going. I was showing up to shows in pajamas, onesies. Like I kind of look nuts now, but like I was just going out in public looking crazy and acting like a bitch. And finally my friend was like, you need to go to therapy. This is like, no one wants to be around this.
Well, it's like as if you just knew my segue question. Not even question, but segue rather. I love how much you talk about therapy on your show. I'm married to a therapist.
Oh, cool. See, I'm looking for one right now because now I need cognitive behavioral help. I need, I've kind of not figured it all out, but I have all the whys and I know everything I need. And I'm having a lot of trouble implementing the things that I know my life will be better when. So I need something a little further, push me further, something like that. So I have a meeting actually with a new one on Monday.
Oh my God.
Figuring it out. And she focuses on like eating stuff and food stuff. So we'll see if that helps me in any way or not. Or anxiety. I don't know what I need, but I need help. I'm a hoarder who's just like too high and eating too much and on my phone. And I want to live a more productive life.
But that life kind of sounds fun. I mean, I'm sort of a hoarder. I mean, I get it. I think, well, and on the flip side, my therapist who I adore, I've completely conned her. Do you know what I mean? Like loves me. And it's just a total waste of both of our times at this point, but I can't break up with her.
But that's what happened to me. But we've separated because it was like, we're done, girl. Yeah.
I know. And then my psychiatrist, because I'm nuts and I'm on SSRIs, which I'm fully in support of if that's your vibe. He's the best, but I can't afford him as a therapist. He was like, what are you doing? Like, you have to break up with this woman. Like, stop. Like, you're reenacting your relationship with your mom where you don't want to rock the boat and you want to be a people pleaser. I'm like, I know all this. But I do love therapy. What's your vibe on the whole, like, Los Angeles and maybe New York? I don't know as much if it's that big in New York, but microdosing craze.
I think it's great. Like, you know, if it helps people with their depression and stuff, like that's incredible. Like, I'm so curious to see what happens, but like, you actually need someone dosing it and helping you. Like, I don't trust people to like microdose on their own. And I think it was Whitney Cummings' podcast where she's like, everyone's just on fucking mushrooms. That's why everyone's acting a mess in this town.
No, it's true. I mean,
because I thought everyone was just high, but now everyone's just on mushrooms. And I worked with someone professionally that I just ended ties with. And I feel their mushroom and drug and psychedelic use affected them.
You do.
In the past, negatively within the past few years. Yeah. They're on their journey, but professionally, I think it fucked them a little. Like, you can't just be on mushrooms all day.
Yeah, I don't think you can be on mushrooms all day. I mean, I love being on mushrooms when I am on them. I did get sent a big ass, like, I thought it was like a makeup box or whatever. Like, sometimes people like send me fucking lotions and creams, which, by the way, anybody listening, like, please send me lotions, please send me creams, please send me makeup. I love it. But to my old address, and my old neighbor called me. He's like, yeah, you've got like a couple of boxes here for a while. Like, I don't know if you want to come get them. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, next time I'm in West Hollywood, I'll come grab them, whatever. Grabbed them, threw them in the back of the car. Didn't think about it. Month goes by. Day before Thanksgiving. I'm like, oh, I wonder what's in those boxes. Like, my friends are coming over. If it's like extra makeup and lotions, I'll give it to them. Open it up. $2,000 worth of fucking mushrooms.
Wow.
That are now sitting in my closet. They're all they're pills. I have a whole thing. I called up the guy. I was like, dude, what's going on here? He's like, yeah, me and my buddy, like, we've got this like new microdosing company. Like, I'm sure you've gotten the ads on Instagram, like the microdosing. Do you ever get served those ads?
No, but I will now.
Correct. Anyway, yeah, it was like all these mushrooms, but I'm like, dude, I'm on antidepressants. I can't just take the mushrooms with the antidepressants. He's like, no, I think it's fine. I'm like, no, see, friend, it's not fine. You can't, no. So I think for now, I'm just going to like recreationally take a lot of mushrooms as I did as a youth here every couple of years just for funsies. But I don't think my job is very funny. So I don't think being high on mushrooms while like negotiating with Disney about like their advertising is smart. Do you know what I mean?
I 100% agree. And I also, that someone just told my friend to do like a DMT thing. And then they Googled it and it was like, they're on SSRIs and it could truly lead to death. And it's like, people just they just think they know everything or they can read online. Like, I don't know. It's so dangerous. I was about to do Molly with someone recently. And then when we met up, they were like, by the way, I did fentanyl test them and they had fentanyl in it. And I was like,
no,
I was like, I forgot about that. Thank God we didn't do it, but I would have probably done it. Like, I was just like, oh yeah, I have to remember I can't do drugs. Like, drugs are serious. Like, the DARE program is right. Like, it's not so chill.
The DARE program is so right. That's such a bummer. Oh my God. Because a little Molly, that's great.
It's the best. It's my favorite because I got Madonna tickets. And obviously I'm like, oh, I want to do Molly at Madonna. But
no, Molly,
it's not worth it.
You want to do Molly? So where are you going? Are you going to
LA.
New York? You are going to
New York.
LA.
Was too hard because I bought them no favors, no emails, nothing, no agents. I went on Ticketmaster. I did it old school and it felt exhilarating.
And you spent $400 for nosebleed seats because I just went to go do it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll see you there. Let me know because my wife and I were like, fuck, do we go?
Well, Jax is going.
Yeah, well, whatever. Jax has way better seats than we fucking have.
Well, like for Gaga, I had floor seats. If Miley goes on tour, I'll get floor seats. Like there's some things where I'm like, I need to be close and I need to do it. For Madonna, I'm like, I want to hear the hits. I've seen her before. Like, I don't care where I am.
I've never seen her before.
I saw her for the Drowned World Tour, but this is the hits and I can't wait. And I just want to be dancing with people. Like I don't need to see her close. Like, and Staples isn't that big. So, because for Gaga was at Dodger Stadium.
Crypto.com arena?
No. Because I still
sorry.
That's such a sickening.
You're confused. Yeah, okay.
But like for Gaga, I don't want to be in the baseball. I don't want to be in center field. Like the baseball stadiums are just too big. So I'm like, I'm seeing this woman up close. But Madonna, I just want to be there. It's just a cultural experience and I need to see it.
Yeah, I felt that way about Robin. I've seen Robin many, many times, but I like bought too good of tickets the last time Robin was in LA. And I was annoyed because all my friends were like in Gen Pop on the ground, like down there. And then my wife and I were like in seats and she's like, why the fuck did you do this? And I'm like, I don't know. I just wanted it to be special and show you that I care, which means just throw money at the problem. And it actually was stupid. And I was like, I'm with like all these like agent and managers who are just like so fucking back. It ruins it. Sometimes you got to just go with your gut. So my gut says go to Madonna. My gut says I'd like to do Molly, but my gut also says don't be on fentanyl and die. So I will probably just be drunk.
Yeah. But I pee too much. So that's my thing. Like I don't love to drink too much at concerts because I don't want to run peeing all the goddamn time. I pee a lot.
Speaking of tours, you were just on one.
I know, but I have a question. What kind of therapist is your wife?
Oh, okay. She's like talk therapy. I mean, she's, MFT. So she works with individuals and couples, no children. She's fabulous. Unfortunately, you and I know each other now. So she's so great because she used to be a producer and in development and really, when I met her, I thought that I never had to work again because her project at the time, won the Golden Globe and she won an Emmy. I mean, they were just like on fire and I was like, this is great. I'm going to be an actor again and like, I'm never going to work. And she's like, I fucking hate Hollywood. This is terrible. I'm going back to school and becoming a therapist. And I'm so proud of her. And she's got like such an incredible practice. But she's great because she kind of like really understands the industry. Ooh.
Yeah. And do you feel like your marriage or like communication relationship has like been helped because of her
Major
therapy background? Yeah. Okay.
And I would also say that it has helped me. Her going through school was really tough. Just because she was like still working, she was still in development. So they were still doing some projects. I don't think she had to go to set anymore though. No, I don't think she did after no. They did a show for NBC and then she stopped. But I learned a lot because like I had to like help her with all her papers, which was a nightmare. I am I guess a good writer, and she'd be like, "You have to help me with my papers," and I'd be reading, and I really learned a lot. I also am way more fucking empathetic, and even if someone's being a complete fucking asshole to me, which happens a lot in my life, I'm like, okay, this is why they're doing it, and or not. I'm not like I don't know everything, but I think I can kind of be like, okay, so this is perhaps why you're doing this or whatever. So it's been very helpful for me in my relationships. And I think me going through therapy and having so much therapy in my own life, and I couldn't afford it. Like I knew I really needed to go to therapy badly and I really couldn't afford it. And I would drive to fucking Van Nuys to this like clinic place and like sit there and like get free therapy. And then it was sliding scale. And I really knew that I needed to address patterns in my life because I wasn't moving forward. And, that stuff's not external. Like you have to do it, right? And I think I like got rid of a lot of relationships. I'm now a little bit quicker to notice patterns that I'm doing. So yeah, I'm fucking for therapy all the way.
Yeah, patterns that are not propelling you forward. That's good.
I think it's hard.
A succinct way to say it.
Well, but I also think it's one of those things like, I think particularly in the like entertainment industry, it's important for people to have a safe, non-judgmental place to talk about their life presently, but also past. Because a lot of what, especially what you do, I don't really perform anymore. I guess this is performing, but it's kind of safe because it's in my house. But like, it's a lot of shit. It's like rejection, it's excitement, it's, nerves, it's letdowns, it's energy exchange. I always talk about that because I feel that, it's performing is fucking rough, dude,
Yeah, like in a day you can, but I think it's with many things, but the ups and downs of emotions are wild. It's,
It's addictive, but yes.
Yeah, you mentioned the tour. It was like a wild fall and winter, and I fully have shingles now from it. And so that's why I'm like so into finding someone new and helping me like learn how to manage stress and also help, and that which will help build my immunity. But like I've had now 2 shingles outbreaks.
No.
And I'm doing everything to like help, but it's like once you get them, you can always get them. And so
my
from
wife
now on,
that's what I've heard. You can like get them again.
Yes.
That fucking sucks, dude.
And I'm never going to not be stressed. Like I'm always going to have to wake up for 6 a.m. flights, fly to a place, perform, go to set.
Yeah.
Like that's hopefully will be my life. And so it's like, oh, I really have to learn new patterns because I cannot just have shingles all the time.
Nope. You cannot.
No. Skin stuff is bad. It's bad. It hurts too. It hurts.
So how was the tour? Was that what was that like? Especially now, I feel like in a kind of, I hate saying post-COVID because it's not real. Like our whole life changed. But what was it like? I mean, did you have like the best time?
We have an amazing time. Yeah, it's just like the little things that like you think it's like you're flying high and then the electricity goes out in the hotel. It's like the road stuff that you can't really anticipate. It's like, oh, everything's on fine. We're on schedule. And it's like, oh, now we have a flat tire in the middle of North Carolina. It's like these little things that no matter how well you plan and organize, it's just the road. Or like dickhead managers, dickhead sound guys, you just like interact with people. You're like, what the fuck is going on? You're bad at your job, but meeting people, doing the shows, like all of that is like so fun. I loved it.
Where do you see the show like going? Like, what do you want to do with the show? Do you want to like just continue? I mean, what happens if like SVU goes? How far are you? Like how deep?
Well, we don't go in order, which is great. So like we bounce
I noticed
around.
that. That's why I was like, do you have episodes left?
Oh yeah, we only have like 100 and I think we're under 120 episodes. Like we're over 2 years, and there's over 460 episodes, and I don't see it.
Great,
the show stopping.
No way.
Yeah.
When you do your live shows, do you dissect an episode, or like what is it usually? Yep.
Yeah, like we don't do the crimes. So for our podcast, we do crimes that the episodes are based on, and then we interview someone. So for the live shows, we banter up top, and then we dissect an episode not based on a crime that's just a fan favorite that's not as serious. Like we try not to do like child rape and murder. You know what I mean? It's like
the child rape is just it's rough, you know.
It is rough. We do the sillier ones where yes, there's someone dead, but like it's a little lighter, or like more like the earlier seasons there was like some humor. And then we do PowerPoints. We love a PowerPoint. So we like do clips, or like we zoom in on certain facial expression or like relate stuff. So we try to make really funny slideshows with the episodes, and we both are crafty queens. Like we like to do that. And then we do games at the end. So we do Would You Rather. We've done trivia, and we do fun games. But our New York show, Diane Neal, aka Casey Novak, was our surprise guest. So no one knew she was coming out. And we did an episode where she was in. It was Trade, and it was the dad from Seventh Heavens in that episode. I don't know if you remember. And he ended up being a real pedophile.
Yes.
But it was like the coffee episode, and his son, the son is Warner from Legally Blonde. So it's like a fun episode. But then at the end, when Diane Neal walked out, like the commotion, it was like 450 people room, and it was just some of the best energy ever. Everyone was so excited she was there, and she spilled dirt. Like she has no filter. So
I'm obsessed with that.
It was incredible to be able to do that. And then we do full meet and greets like afterwards. We do 1 to 2 hour. We meet anyone that comes. Like you don't have to pay or buy anything. Like we'll meet everybody that comes. And I know that'll change in the future. We're doing bigger venues starting like in the fall and stuff. So that might not always be a possibility, but that was something that was really important to me, or to both of us.
What do you feel about the Law and Order episodes that are like ripped from the headlines?
Well, that's our bread and butter. So like that's all the research we do. And
I mean the ones that are like kind of like loosely based on like a celebrity's like I feel like they've done ones that are like kind of about like Britney Spears and like, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah. And then like some of them, we interviewed one writer and we thought this case was based on a different crime. And she goes, no, it's based on Jared from Subway. And we're like, wait, that's not what the fan wiki said. And that's not what our research was. So we got inside scoop, and same with like talking to the showrunner, Neil Baer. He was like, sometimes it's just a medical journal, but the ones that are play-by-plays, like the Rihanna one, I don't really like. That one really upsets me. It's called like Valentine's, like that whole. So that I don't like. The Epstein ones, I do like it. I like when it's kind of.
I sort of like it too. I mean, first of all, Jared from Subway, let's not like dance over that, is the biggest piece of shit ever.
Yes. Yeah.
On the fucking planet. That really like
in prison.
Yeah, so and I don't know why I did this, but I listened to the audio. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No. I didn't know that there was audio from.
I unfortunately listened to it. When he's like, yeah, who cares? They're like a poor kid. Bring them over. Dude, I was like, why did I listen to that? Why did I listen to that? And it totally, I can't unremember it, you know?
Yeah, I watched the Tiffany Haddish, Ari Spears video that people were upset about, and I regret watching it. It did not make me feel good.
No, I wish you hadn't watched that either.
I was just with some comics outside the comedy club, and someone had it on their phone, and I watched, and then we all just like, I don't even think we talked. I think we all just like separated and left each other. It was
just like
left.
Disassembled. Yeah, exactly. You just like went your separate ways and like never talked about it again. What is
I'm trying to think of the ones that are like so obvious. Like one's Casey Kasem. I'm like trying to think of the ones that are so celeb based that it's like wild. But one is Sumner Redstone. One is based on, that's like a celeb, I guess.
All right, that's kind of like a D-list.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Interesting. I really hope
But
for you.
one was like the Nickelodeon Disney kids. Like that was one that it's like it's just like, are these guys that good at their jobs that you're okay with them molesting like generation after generation of young actresses? Like it just doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it.
I don't know. Yeah. It's kid actors, like in general, all of it. The parents, the Amanda Bynes of it all. Like I just, I really feel for them. They're all a fucking wreck. Like, it
fucks with you because we know adults that what fame does to you. It's like it really breaks your brain unless you're really careful and grounded. Like people turn into fucking psychos. I can't even imagine what it does to a child's brain.
Do you know what I mean? And I say that all the time. I mean, I just went for New Year's Day. One of my first friends in Los Angeles, and I was literally one of his first friends. This guy, you know Ron Funches, right?
Yeah.
So Ron and I met many years ago when we both first moved to Los Angeles. And I, at the time, was working at MySpace as a producer. And so I was going to concerts like almost every night. And I started to invite him and we were really close. And this is when he was opening for Fortune. Do you know what I mean? Like he hadn't shot anything. And we were just talking and I was like, remember when like every time we would go to a club, I'd be like, he's really famous, and, get us into the VIP and whatever. I was like, you're really famous now, but you're pretty much the same. I mean, he's definitely changed a little bit. He has like a dope house now, but like for all intents and purposes, Ron is the same person. But we were talking about how a few people that we knew back then like are not. People do change. I mean, again, Ron has had to change because things are different now, but he's to the core the same person. I know a lot of people in LA where I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, perfect example, Lisa and Meredith. They were homies before, and now it's like they let those producers manip them.
Fame is wild because like Vicky Gunval said, like people ruin their lives, leave great husband. Like people ruin their lives and are willing to ruin their lives for fame. And I always think of Bling Empire because it's like these people are billionaires and they still want fame. It's like still not enough for them. I just can't imagine being a full-blown billionaire and needing to be on a reality TV show.
Are you watching?
Same with the Nepo baby thing. I'm like, if I was a Nepo baby, I don't think I would have it in me to be like, I got to make a name for myself. I'd be like, I'm going to Monaco. I don't give a fuck. Like,
if I was a Nepo baby, I would not be doing this podcast with you. I would be ghost. I would literally be living between Mexico and the south of Greece. I'd be living between Mexico and Greece. You would never, ever see me. You wouldn't know my name. You wouldn't hear, like, fucking Apple going and sitting front row in Chanel. I'm like, I mean, she's gorgeous, but I'm like, here we go again. Like, get out of here. No, yeah, I'd be ghost. You would never, ever fucking see me if I was rich. There's no fucking way. Bling Empire, New York. Are you watching it?
I tried. I don't like it. And you mentioned this earlier up top about like Friends and stuff, and like how Leah McSweeney was saying how New York was disjointed. That's why Vanderpump was so good in its heyday, because they actually were friends. Like they did work together. They were fucking each other. They did have relationships, and that makes it great. That's why the Jersey Shore is great. That's why Jersey is great. And Miami, you could tell they love each other. Like when Alexia's mom died, they all were at that funeral. Like everything gets thrown away. All the drama is away because they do love each other at its core. And that's what makes it good. And Bling Empire LA, like they were friends. You could tell New York, they don't know each other. It's like they made Dorothy move to New York and it's like none of them know each other. I don't get it. There's no connection between them. And why didn't they have hors d'oeuvres at that party?
I don't know why you know why? Because did you see what that woman looks like? She don't eat.
Yeah, we talk about this. There's like some people in our groups where it's like, oh yeah, you don't eat. That's why you don't understand that like you need more pizzas for this many people. But
Yeah, that's actually always the answer. When there's not enough food, it's because that person does not eat. Like when I go to my mom's house, I'm like, I'm starving. She's always like, Elizabeth, I'm starving. I'm like, yeah, because I need to eat to live, to continue. I can't just fucking drink vodka martinis and like weird little like gluten-free crackers like you do, Mom. Like, I don't even know how you're fucking still going. I'm starving. I need cheese. I need a few different kinds of cheeses in the fridge at all times. I need a veggie platter on the go. Like, I need the food, you know?
Wait, do you have a veggie platter like in your fridge?
Right now.
And you could just grab a little. Okay, I might try that. I like the idea of it all being washed and ready, and I could just grab some tomatoes.
Listen, for some reason, carrots, celery, and those little tomatoes taste better when they're from the from the veggie platter. I don't know why. If you buy celery and you clean it and you cut it, it does not taste the same. I don't know what's going on there. Plus, you have a little handy dandy ranch. I'm telling you, we have a veggie platter in our refrigerator at all times because if not, my wife will just eat candy.
Yeah, I'm like, it's part of the thing of like not doing. I can't make stuff. I can't cook. And finally, for our podcast, we have HelloFresh as one of our sponsors. So I got some this week and I got the quick and easy. I'm like, I can fucking make this. I took it all out, the cutting board, the pan. I was so excited. I didn't even have butter in my fridge. I had to put it all away. I didn't have butter to make I had to go buy olive oil and butter. I was like, I don't even have the basics to fucking cook. I don't want to cut up a cucumber. I always buy a cucumber and it dies slowly, even though I love cucumbers. I just don't want to cut it. But I'm liking this. I'm going to buy prepackaged trays. That's what I'm going to do.
This is the move. I also am like a sociopath and really cook. Like I am the one hosting Christmas, Thanksgiving. Like my wife basically has like a fucking 4, I wouldn't say 5-star, maybe like 4.1.
And are you
a
recipe girl or like are you from your heart and spirit? What are you doing?
Both.
Wow.
Yeah. Come over anytime. Literally, Allie Colbert and Julianne are up my butt about coming over here for dinner.
Hell yes.
Just join them. Just tell me what you like ahead of time, and I'll have it all ready for you.
I just don't want mushrooms. No mushrooms or olives. That's it. Everything else I'm always open for.
Oh my God. We got you. We got this. You're a dream. I could talk to you for 100
I'm so happy.
hours. 100
I mean,
hours.
That is what is wild. Now, I have been doing this a while, and I guess you like are in this business for people to know you, so then you could perform. But then when people do know me, I'm like so flattered and surprised, and it's so nice.
Did you listen to me on the Allie Colbert show, and you're like, oh, let me go like follow her, and were you like, oh my God, she already follows me?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like died when I saw it on my phone. I was like, oh my God, Glitter Cheese is following me. And my wife's like, who is that? I'm like, you know who she is. She's so funny. She's so funny. Look. And she was just like, oh my God, Liz, I died.
No, those are like fun that's like the joy in life. Like Roberta's Pizza in Brooklyn followed me recently and I screenshotted it. I was like, who's working at Roberta's that followed? Like, I couldn't believe it. It's fun. It's the dopamine hits and it's real and I enjoy it.
It's welcomed because Instagram, like it's just a nightmare, that Instagram, let me tell you.
And how did you guys meet?
I used to host a big concert series in Santa Monica called the Twilight Concert Series. It was on Thursdays. There'd be like 10,000 people in the audience and I was the host. And our mutual friend had taken Rachel. And she was like, is that Liz on stage? And they were like, my wife now was like, who's Liz? And they're like, oh, is Liz gay? Is Liz whatever? And I was actually dating a guy and a girl at that time. And they were both backstage. And then they were like, can we come backstage? And I was like, no. And we ended up moving next to Natalie, who has a dog rescue. And our dog Ravioli is from the rescue. And we lived next to them for like 4 years in West Hollywood.
Wow. That's amazing.
You're next. If you want it.
I do want it. You know what shook me to my core that's made me be like, I need there and this and all my patterns? Quinta Brunson did an interview with Oprah. And in it, Oprah was like, what's your advice to like women? And she said, when you're alone in your room, do you like yourself? Like, not do you love yourself, do you like yourself? And I like looked around my room and it was just like a hoarding mess. And like, it was just messy. And I was like, I don't think I do. I don't think I like this life. Like, I need to like, make sure I feel that way. So then I can bring someone into my life, So, and I know you don't have to be like perfect to find the person for you and all of that stuff too. But it definitely,
you know what it is though?
Spiraled me a little bit.
It does sort of like, I was like a real big fucking mess when I met Rachel, but I had dated this fucking cunt. Speaking of not eating, what a fucking bitch. she did not eat. And I was set up with her and we dated. And it was really and she also really fucking played me. And she made me feel like she was embarrassed to be out with me a lot, which was a really terrible feeling. And I was sort of here, LA is a small place, like, especially if you're like in certain, like, you know what I mean? It's like you kind of like, everybody, you know what I mean? Like, whatever. And I would have friends and they're like, dude, I saw her like at this party at Chateau, because this is a million years ago, like, and you weren't there, and like she was with somebody else. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know what I mean? And it was so embarrassing. And I was on a plane because I hosted the X Games at that time. And
oh my God, you've had like a million lives.
I know. It's true.
And each one of the jobs seems really cool.
Yeah, you're right. I don't give myself enough credit there. But yeah, I was going to go host this stage at X Games, and I was on a fucking plane and the plane caught on fire. And there were hella kids on the plane because they were all going to Austin to the X Games and shit. You know what I mean? It was like all these people and kids and shit. And I was in the exit row, and I was kind of like on and off dating this girl, and she was treating me like fucking shit. And I was like drinking all the time and going out, and I still was at MySpace. I was like produce every night, like out till like 1 or 2 in the morning, and just like being a fucking menace. And she was just making me feel so bad at myself. And I thought I was going to die. So I know this sounds so cheese and like, oh, I was on a plane and I almost died and my whole life flashed before my eyes, but it sort of did. And I like got off that plane of classic, called my mom, and my mom's like, oh, that's nothing. I was like in Egypt and like my whole, like one of the wings fell off and I still survived. I was like, click. Okay. Whatever, mom. You're like such a one-upper. You're a nightmare. But I really thought to myself, and I was like, I don't like any of this. I don't like how I'm letting someone treat me. I don't like that I'm like pretty much still in the closet for being bisexual. Like, what is wrong with me right now? I want a real relationship. I want someone to be like proud to like go to a fucking restaurant with me or like hold my hand. Like, why the fuck am I like being like the only time this girl would see me is basically to like fuck at her house? I'm like, this is not good. Like, I have to stop this. And I did. And like 2 months later, I met Rachel.
Wow.
I mean, I like fucked a bunch of people that summer, but I met but no, I mean, like, whatever, fine. But yeah, anyway, so you will. And like, it's true. You have to like yourself. I don't really like, I'm very mean to myself. And that's something I work on all the time. I'm like pretty terrible to myself, So I think that's something I try to work on all the time. But, anyway,
yeah, it's everlasting. What is it? Never stopping, whatever.
Never ending.
Yeah, never ending.
Well, I really like you and I'm a really big fan, and I'm like sort of shitting bricks that you did this.
I can't believe it. Thank you for having me. I did want to plug one thing, if that's
you
okay.
can plug what, girl, go plug anything you want.
So Kara Clank and I, we do That's Messed Up, an SVU podcast, and we just started a Patreon where we're going to do like all non-SVU stuff. And like tonight we're going to meet up and get stoned, and she's organized and I'm not, and she's going to go through my backpack and like, I don't know, we're going to do Drag Race. We're going to talk Housewives or On the Road. So just like everything not it. And it's called name dropping because some of our 1-star reviews say we name drop too much. But we just love celebs.
You and I are the same. This show was going to be called Name Droppers.
Oh my God. Yeah. Like people are so bothered by it, but I'm like, I don't think I'm better than you because of it. I'm excited. I don't know.
Well,
I like it.
Not to brag, but on the Taylor Strucker show, I won best segment of the year this year, and it's called Drop It Like It's Hot. And it's when I drop names.
Wow. Wait, what record? What do you mean? From Hootie and the Blowfish? Who's Darius Rucker?
No, I said Taylor Strucker.
But who's that?
Oh, Taylor Strucker is radio icon, legend. We went to like acting school together. It's a very amazing long story, but which all the listeners know. So I'm so sorry.
Okay.
But
no, that's cool.
No. But basically I'm on her weekly show, and I have a segment that came out of people making fun of me for being a name dropper, and it's called Drop It Like It's Hot. So there you go. So everybody,
so funny. I looked her up, and there's a lot of pictures of Jackson Brittany that pop up.
Well, right, because I told you she married Stassi. Girl, I'm telling you, you and I
I'm
were
coming
meant to
over.
meet. You're coming over. Everybody go on the Patreon. I have a Patreon. I love Patreon. Everybody.
Yeah, it's new for us. But we just wanted a little less structure. It's not going to be edited. It's just like a little more relaxed. So we're
God, everybody go on her Patreon and my Patreon. And please, as cringy as this is, like, subscribe, and leave me a comment.